Okay, so today I'm going to teach on the three circles, which is going to be the next phase of spin and throw, and I believe this is an effective way to make the concept of a rotational throw easier to teach. I already used this method this weekend, and I taught a student from scratch using the three circles, and I believe it's an effective teaching method, and it's so easy like a child could understand it, and it's correct, and it lends itself to other sports, which I'm going to demonstrate. The concept basically came from Mike Austin, who taught the golf swing as circles within circles, small circles within a big circle. And so I basically took that same teaching and applied it to what I've been teaching in spin and throw, and it's exactly what I want to teach. So Mike Austin, and again, a lot of people don't like me to bring up other sports. That's fine, but I think it actually shows the correctness of the teaching to show that every other sport is the same. In every other sport, one of the main things is being close to your body is not good. Being far from your body on a big arc, if you're throwing or hitting, getting out away from your center, that creates more speed. It's just like the phonograph record, the bigger or a bicycle wheel, the bigger the wheel, the slower the hub has to go for the wheel to actually be going faster. So in today's world, they teach cutting across the circle in a sideways motion. And I have completely abandoned that idea now. I'm throwing all of that out. And I will show you why. So what Mike Austin taught was you have the big circle. So if I never bent my wrist, I would have a circle that looks like this. And I could just swing my body, and I'd have the big circle. Then you have the little semicircle at the bottom that must be completed, and this is done with the wrist in the golf swing. And all the golf swing is the big circle coupled to the little circle that must complete. So at the bottom, this circle must complete. This goes against a lot of the teachings in golf, where people think they hold the angle, they pull down. He taught against all of those things. It's actually the same thing in disc golf. He described the concept of pulling the handle down into the pocket, and a lot of people are teaching the flat-footed twisting of your spine, and he was teaching against that all the way back into the 60s. Actually, he would say all the way back into the 40s. But it's the idea that there's a semicircle trapped in this circle. And both of those things must complete. So you pull in from away from the big circle, because the big circle's out there. We pull in away from it by using the cock of the wrist. Then we come down, and we must get back onto the big circle, and then back to the little circle, and finish. So the same thing applies in disc golf, but we have three circles. Not two circles, there's three. There's the big circle, the helicopter rotors. If I put my arms straight out from my chest, and I use my hips and my feet and my knees, and I'm not going to go into the minute detail of that, because I found that actually once I get people trying to move the big circle, their feet and knees have a tendency to start doing exactly what they need to do to move the big circle, because they're not concerned about cutting across the circle anymore. We're on the big circle. Then we have another circle, the small circle, which is the elbow bend, the swing into the tuck, where we go out from the big circle. Here's the big circle. we go in, and then we go back out to the big circle. In, out, in, out, in, out. And that's all that is this motion of I'm going to allow my elbow to bend, but we must realize getting all the way back out to the big circle. Look at Paul McBeth, Paige Pierce, all of them get back to their arm fully extended and they're still holding onto the disc. So anyone who's cutting across, if they ever did get fully extended, it'd be over there somewhere, which is why I hear people saying, all I do is throw to the right. Okay, so many of my students, to get them to fully extend back out to 10 o'clock, they actually have to throw to 7 o'clock because the arc has to be realized. I'm exaggerating. It has, so I'm going to throw it over there because you're spinning the big circle at the same time of throwing out. So to do that, you may have to throw out significantly before the point you think you have to do, because you're not cutting across the circle to 10 o'clock. We're swinging this semicircle inside this big circle. Then the final circle in disc golf is the mini circle. So it's this circle. We have a third circle, which is the disc that pivots around the wrist, like throwing a yo-yo. Pivots around the wrist. So that is the disc pivot. This is the 2-finger drill. We practice throwing around. We don't snap it out. We swing it in, throw it out, swing it in, throw it out. And if I put that together with the small circle, that would be a spin putt. That's all that is. And all we're trying to do is get the disc to go in and out of our chest, working off the big arc, back onto the big arc. And then the last thing is the disc pivots around the hand and expels itself in a straight line out from the chest as you're spinning the big arc. The last teaching that came from Mike Austin, which is something that I've been teaching for quite a while also, but I thought it was very interesting that Mike Austin and followers of Mike Austin were teaching the same thing. This idea that, okay, the bottom arc down here is a pendulum. That's what Mike called it, pendulum action. Interesting thing about pendulums is I could make that twice as long and it'd still only go that fast. I can make it shorter, it'd still go that fast. But one thing I can do is I can raise it, raise the handle up. If I raise the handle up as it's swinging by, I can throw that thing all the way around. So anybody who's ever been in a swing set and kicked their legs to get the pendulum going bigger, that's exactly the same thing, right? Lifting the handle. So Mike Austin taught that as the club is being released back onto the big circle, he actually taught a vertical, very vertical. Jack Nicklaus did the same thing, a lot of the great golfers. The shoulders actually going away, so as the club is going out, the club head is going out to hit the ball, this shoulder's actually going the opposite direction. Looks very easy and natural, but believe it or not, man, you want to talk about getting that club head going, that's how you do it. So the same thing in disc golf. I beat this to death, and I've said this is one of the most difficult concepts to get people to do, is the concept that we're going to throw out to 10, but we're going to spin our chest to 2. If you go and throw to 10, there is none of that effect. But if I go and I am actually accelerating in rotation past the point of throw out, I'm actually accelerating my ability to increase the speed of that pendulum. That's why the acceleration of the rotation past the throw out point is so critical, is because two things are happening at once. You're throwing the disc out away from your body, and you're actually moving the joint the opposite direction. And when you put the two things together, you throw out to 10, turn to 2, accelerate to 2, the disc comes out dead straight, and it also comes out flat to the plane. So we're not talking about lines anymore. We're talking about planes. This is on a plane. If I want to throw a hyzer, I could throw flat here, which I'm just showing the arm. Oh, if I want to throw a hyzer, I just bend over a tiny bit. It doesn't take very much. And now I'm throwing a hyzer. It goes from low to high. And if I want to throw an anhyzer, I throw from low to high. Okay, so the big arc, the big circle, basically controls where the disc goes as far as angle of release if you're expelling it straight out of your chest. Like, it's like this, right? Mike Austin said if this was connected by a piece of string, bam, the string would break and it would expel itself straight out from the center. So that is the 3 circles. That's the basic teaching. That's where I'm going from now on. I do believe this is a really great way to throw the Frisbee. I believe this is what you're seeing, actually. And I hope everybody will get on board with what I'm talking about. And I guess until next time, thank you very much.